Hi, welcome back Stampeders. My name's Jerry. I'm hosting the channel and also hosting the next North American gold rush here in the great state of Nevada in the Great Basin. Now I brought up here to one of my favorite places. When I first started prospecting out here, one of the things I do to take advantage of the situation is come where the utilities have worked, and they put in these poles. I'm going to kind of go over the first prospecting tip again because it was really windy last time, and so yeah, if you want to get on some gold fast, go where the county's made a road or the utility companies have put a utility line in. And what they've done is they've augered up all these rocks. And I'm up here on top of a ridge line. That's the optimal place to put these transmission lines in. But it's not the optimal place to find gold. And I prospected here for years, and I've seen these rounded, smooth rocks, right? This is like a river rock. Look at that. There's definitely been a lot of action on it. And then there's all this white staining, right? All this white calcite material. That's evidence of the ancient seabed. More rounded rock. More rounded rock. You wouldn't really see any of this unless they came in here and disturbed this and made a drill pad to drill these power lines. Normally, you would look for gold down here in the bottom of this wash. And I prospected down there, and it's really hard to find gold in the bottom of that wash. But it's easy to find gold up here amongst all this rounded cobblestone. When you see all this rounded rock, it makes you wonder, where's the river? How did all the action on this rock smooth it out like this? How did that happen? Where's the river? I'm on a hilltop. Certainly this isn't a river. There's a wash. Water runs down there. So I'm standing here on this hilltop, and I'm looking at all this river rock and all this rounded rock. It looks like it should be in the bottom of a river, and yet it's up here on top of a hill. And it took me a long time to figure out how this happened. And how it happened was wave action from the lake that used to be here. These rocks used to sit here and roll back and forth with the storms and with the tides. And that's how they got rounded. And that's how this alluvium got concentrated into what's known as secondary alluvium. And that's when the gold drops out. Now I'm going to take you on a little walk down here. While we go down here, I'm going to show you something. We'll go over the tips on prospecting in the Great Basin. There. Okay. Tip number 1. Set aside everything you know about prospecting anyplace else. It doesn't necessarily apply here. The fact that gold is really heavy, that applies. But most everything you learn and everything you've been taught about placer mining is involved where there's a lot of water. There's a river. Okay, we're down here in the bottom of the wash. Oh, look, somebody's been here. So I'm still on my claims. I don't need to dig any new holes. I'll just take you to some of the ones that I've already done. right here is a mine tunnel. This is new. Somebody did this recently. Anyway, somebody couldn't stand it. They had to tunnel in there, and they found nothing. I was here with my tractor, and I dug right down here to the bottom, right down to the bedrock, right here. And there is no gold in the bottom of this. Nothing. And you would think, yeah, the gold is run down the side of the hill. This is where it would concentrate. Well, it did, but it's all been blown out. It's all been washed out. The water pressure. I'll tell you where I did find gold. I found gold right over there, up here on top of this hill. Down there in the bottom of that gully, the ancient seabed has been washed away, and it's all washed out into the valley. So there's nothing there. But you come up here, that ancient seabed, it still exists. So tip number 2, tip number 1, set aside what you know. Don't forget it. But things are different here. You don't necessarily find gold in the bottom of the washes. You can find it up here on the ridge tops. I'm going to stop for a second. Okay, I'm back. It was a little bit of a hike over here. So I started out over there. There's the telephone poles. And I walk through this little wash, and I come over here to discover a catgut. I'm standing on top of a big pile of dirt. I'll climb down off it so you can see. Pile of dirt, dozer cut. Why would somebody come up here looking for gold? Well, because this is where it is. The gold's associated with this ancient seabed. The ancient seabed created your false bedrock. Evidence of the ancient seabed is this white colored material. This is calcite material. It's a result of millions of years of fish living and dying, and their bones settling down to the sea bottom. And due to the pressure and decomposition, it solidifies into this white, almost chalky-like stuff. It's like coral or stalactites in a cave. It's calcite is what they say it is. But this is where you'd want to prospect. Digging's tough out here in the desert. This is very hard to dig material. So you'd want to come in here and sample this. It's difficult to mine these really thin layers of material out here. Okay, back up here where I can see again. I don't know if you can see it right up there. There's another big pile of dirt. And up there, there's more piles of dirt. And this is all placer testing on these ridge lines. Because on these top of these ridge lines, the seabed is present. It's shallow. It's right here. They scraped it right off the top. Down in the washes, all of the erosion has either ripped the seabed out altogether or has just washed everything out. So normally in a place, you know, where you mine gold, you mine the bottom of the canyon. Well, you'll get skunked if you do that out here. You got to mine the walls and the sides. And the bottom, if the bottom had any gold in it, and some of these bottoms did, some of them were highly concentrated, but they've been mined out 100 years ago. So coming up Later, maybe in January, hopefully. My plans for this little pile of dirt right here is to bring a dry washer up here and see if we can't dry wash some of this stuff and put it back where it was, and knock down this pile and kind of reclaim this area. Dry washing might be the future out here, because this dry washing business has gotten very high tech, and I have never been a big fan of dry washers. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I've never been a big fan of dry washers because the reason is moisture content, right? Moisture content kills everything related to a dry washing system. The whole physics of dry washing is 0% moisture content, if possible. So the moisture content out here is about 8 to 10% year round. So these new dry washers, there's people that brought them out here, and they're using static electricity on top of the vibration and the aeration of the dirt. And they've ran the same dirt as I have, and they had a 70% recovery. They got 70% of what I got by washing it. Well, if I could spend all my time processing material for 30% less, but if I could process twice as much, well, it's all about the yield at the end of the day, right? So I'm interested in this dry washing business. I'm going up to Salt Lake shortly, pretty soon. I'm going to meet with a master miner, Larry Neff. You might have heard of him. He's invented the Neff bowl. He's got a dry washer up there. He's offered to let me try. It's a commercial size dry washer. It'll handle about 15 yards per hour. You feed it with a backhoe, and we're going to give it a go. I got to climb up a hill now. I'll be right back. Okay, back on top now. So to review, the old saying, gold is where you find it, that's very true. You find gold out here in places you're not supposed to find gold. People that come up here with the mentality that got to get to bedrock, they all go broke, because bedrock might be 1,500 feet. We don't know. There's only a few places where bedrock surfaces. A really good place, it's not on my claim unfortunately, it used to be, but right across from me, right behind me, right up on that hillside, right there, all that where there's no trees, that's all scoured bedrock. And a lot of material moved over that to scour that clean. If I was a metal detector guy, that's a place I would go and check out, because you're in a gold bearing area, and you want to detect where bedrock is near the surface. And you don't know this when you get here, but you will find out after prospecting here that the gold is surface. There's gold on the surface, and that's why so much mining was done here, is they found gold on the surface. So the gold is associated with the false bedrock being the ancient seabed, and places you can get into the ancient seabed is where the county or the public utilities have gone in and caused disturbance and opened it up and allowed you to access it. You could prospect right alongside this road right here I'm on. Okay, this is county road. This would be open to anyone to prospect on. So recently I made a new friend, and he's given me some advice, and I think this guy's kind of important. He impresses me, and I'm going to take his advice. And his name is Carl. Carl the Crusher. You might want to check him out on YouTube. He's a master of YouTube, and he's given me some advice. I've never asked anyone to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank everyone that subscribed, and 7 or 8 of you have the notifications bell going on, and I really like that. Thank you. But Carl says to remind people to subscribe, and I'm going to take Carl's advice. I hope to have Carl on as a guest sometime. He's an interesting guy. He's got a great channel. I invite you to check it out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll be back.